Rohingyas are there for centuries together.
Our father, mother, our forefathers, ancestor, citizen of Myanmar.
2015 সালে আমাদেরকে বলছে যে তোমরা অবৈধ অনুপ্রবেশকারী বাঙালি।
পলিসিটা হচ্ছে এই ধরনের ডিভাইড অ্যান্ড রুল।
Their identity crisis is intentionally made, propagated and executed.
They have killed the people, they have burned the villages, they have raped the women. This cannot be a part of military operation.
You kill the identity, then you are actually also being complicit to genocide.
Well, we don't know how many people have been killed, but we do have some idea of how many have been burnt and chased out of their homes.
The world's fastest growing humanitarian crisis as thousands of Rohingya refugees are spending a fourth night stranded near the border with Bangladesh.
Let's not forget that the whole world is watching. What happens here has global implications.
Our people have shared their shelters, their food, their clothing with these people. How do you value that?
More than 600 HIV positive cases detected.
Nobody becomes a refugee by choice. They're forced to become refugees.
Our concern is the safe return and the earliest possible date for the start of the repatriation.
এটি সম্পূর্ণভাবে মিয়ানমার এবং তার নিজস্ব নাগরিক রোহিঙ্গাদের মধ্যকার একটি সমস্যা। তাদের নিজেদেরই এর সমাধান করতে হবে।
Arakan was never been a part of Burma. It was divided through the Arakan Yoma from the other part of the Burma. Thus Arakan was always having an independent identity.
Rohingyas are there for centuries together.
Our father, mother, our forefathers, ancestor, citizen of Myanmar.
2015 সালে আমাদেরকে বলছে যে তোমরা অবৈধ অনুপ্রবেশকারী বাঙালি।
Before 1992, they enjoyed all the facilities of Myanmar as a citizen.
135টা জাতিগোষ্ঠী আছে, ওর মধ্যে আমাদের রোহিঙ্গাকে বাদ দিয়ে দিয়েছে ওরা।
They were deprived of their basic rights.
They did not get any kind of the opportunity to learn, to take, to go anywhere.
Once you take the right of the people, so automatically it affects also the unity and integrity of the country.
Historically, the Rakhine State, more precisely the northern and northwestern areas of the state, serves as the homeland to a unique Muslim community, commonly known as the Rohingya. With about 36.778 square kilometers of area, the Rakhine State enjoys the status of a state within the Union of Myanmar, Sitwe, or formerly Akyab, being its capital. Prior to October 2016, the approximate population census of this state appeared to be of a total population of 3.3 million, of which the Rakhine community was of about 2.1 million, Rohingya community 1 million, and Mog, Chak, Marma, and Murong making up the rest.
মায়ানমার দেশটা ব্রিটিশ থেকে 1948 জানুয়ারির 7 তারিখ আমরা স্বাধীনতা লাভ করছি। ব্রিটিশ থেকে স্বাধীনতা লাভ করার সময় বর্তমান যিনি স্টেট কাউন্সিলর অং সান সুকি আছে, ওনার পিতা অং সানের নেতৃত্বে তখন অং সানের যে অ্যাডভাইজার দুজন ছিল আব্দুর রাজ্জাক, রশিদ, ওরা দুজন রোহিঙ্গা। স্বাধীনতার নেতৃত্বের অ্যাডভাইজার ওরা দুজন রোহিঙ্গা ছিল। ওই সময় থেকে 1948 থেকে শুরু করে 2010 পর্যন্ত সামরিক সরকার হোক অথবা গণতন্ত্র সরকার হোক, যতটুকু ইলেকশন হয়েছে সব ইলেকশনে আমরা ভোট দিছি, ভোট আমরা নিছিও তো আমাদের থেকে সংসদ সদস্য, মন্ত্রী, মিনিস্টার সবকিছু হয়েছে, কিন্তু 2015 সালে আমাদেরকে বলছে যে তোমরা অবৈধ অনুপ্রবেশকারী বাঙালি।
There was a proposition from the General Aung San that let's we fight together against the occupying force or the imperialist force, that is the Britishers. So that's why first Anglo was called, and the decision was, after their getting independence through the struggle from the Britishers, the 7 states may have joined with the loose federation of Burma, or they may go with their separate identity as it was. This was the spirit of General Aung San framing his constitution. But against Aung San, those who were there, they were thinking something else, like General Ne Win. After 1962, it was General Ne Win, he started put bar that no Rohingya will be allowed to join with the military, no Rohingya will be allowed to join with the administrative service, no Rohingya will be allowed to go for the higher education, Rohingyas will not be allowed to go one place to another place without the permission. Rohingyas were not allowed to go even to visit Yangon. Once from Yangon, any Rohingya came out, he was not allowed to re-enter inside the Yangon. So by this process, he wants to marginalize Rohingyas from the capital city. He declared Rohingyas first, they are foreigners.
This is a very important issue to remember. The crisis is not 2 years old. The crisis is over 40 years old. This crisis did not start in 2017, and the key to understanding this crisis lies in its historical context. We have to be able to go back, analyze how this crisis has evolved. The first displacement, 78, second displacement, now the third displacement again, and see why it happened, because the root causes were not addressed.
That is, Indo-Pak subcontinent got independence from the Britishers. So the northern Rakhine people, northern Arakan in those days, some of the people, they have also opined that they will join with the Dada in East Pakistan. So there was some sorts of low intensity conflict raised. Subsequently, they have created Mayo Frontier Administration. They declared that we will ensure all the facilities like your education, like your healthcare, like your communication, all the facilities will be provided like other citizens, other nationals of the country. So by that they convened sorts of conference in the Mayo Front administration. Mayo Frontier Administration is a part of Rohingyas history. Reason behind, in those days, in that is administrative umbrella, actually Rohingyas were recognized at the national of that country, that is the Burma.
According to 1948 constitution in Myanmar, they were citizens and they had even position of ministers, and they were members of the parliament of Myanmar. So from the position of being the members of the parliament and also having cabinet positions by the Rohingya Muslim, but now they are stateless, they are not citizens of the Myanmar, and so we can see that the 1982 citizenship law that Myanmar government introduced, and the government was under the military junta, and they actually created this problem.
Over more than 40-50 years, Myanmar has been ruled by the military, and military has never sided with the Rohingya population as a minority group, but also others. For instance, there's other minority groups in Myanmar who the military junta or the authorities are fighting with. In the 80s, when they've had their own citizenship law, and there was kind of like towards the final stage of depriving their rights.
The Myanmar government forcefully issued called NVC. NVC means foreigner. It is unacceptable for the Rohingya Muslim because we are citizens of originally citizens of Myanmar.
Every country is giving the real citizenship who are living for lifelong in this old land, motherland. But the government, the Myanmar government is different from other countries.
Historically, people from different countries, they move to different regions. And in Europe now we know that there are many Germans living in Austria. There are many Germans living in Bulgaria or different parts of the world. But they remain citizens of those countries. Those Russians who are living in Ukraine, They are known as Ukrainian. They are not Russian. Of course, they are Russian when we go to their ethnic identity, but they are the citizens of Ukraine, or they are the citizens of Belarus, I mean Russians. So why, if some people coming from a particular zone or particular region historically, but why should they be treated that like they are Indians or Bengalis, so they should be forced from their country?
They point out, yes, they were living there, but they came way back. Now, if they had come before 71, if they had come before 1948, then why can't they be citizens of Myanmar? Even if we take that, okay, they are Bengalis, for hypothetically, even if we say, okay, why can't a Bengali be a citizen of Myanmar if a Rakhine can be a Bangladeshi citizen? We have Rakhine community.
আমরা যে অধিকার নিয়ে এখানে বসবাস করি অন্যান্য দেশে আছে কিনা আমার জানা নাই। ওইখানে অন্য ধর্মাবলম্বী কথা দূরে থাকুক, আমরা বুদ্ধিস্ট যারা আছি ওখানে তাদেরও অবস্থা ভালো নাই। বার্মিজ বুদ্ধিস্ট এবং রাখাইন বুদ্ধিস্ট মধ্যেও ডিফারেন্স আছে। বৌদ্ধ ধর্ম সবচেয়ে শান্তি ধর্ম, বৌদ্ধ শান্তির কথাই বলে গেছেন, কিন্তু তার অনুসারীরা যারা রাজার নৃপতি হয় ওরা কিন্তু বৌদ্ধ ধর্মকে সামনে দিয়ে ওরা নিজেদের সত্যিকার রূপটাকে প্রকাশ করে।
The Rohingya have faced decades of discrimination and repression under successive Myanmar governments, effectively denied citizenship under the 1982 citizenship law. They are one of the largest stateless populations in the world.
नाम बदुल इस्लाम बदुलियो हो आयरंदे आख्याब जिला मंगडू थाना रोहिंग्या दंगर गेराम इबोले आरा रोहिंग्या पार्टी रोहिंग्या दीवानी गुरुवार रोहिंग्या गुरुवार किताबा बरमादे एमपिते किल्ले आरा रोहिंग्या गुरुवार पार्टी कल दलकल तोले इबोले बोहिबा इबोले मेमार नागरत मेमार नेशनलिटीर यान होले आर मार मेमार आरडी कार्ड 1954 1954 दिदे काट ओरुल्ला आर अब्बार आरडी कार्ड 1954 55 माग दिल्ली
आर नाम होले मोहम्मद फयाज बाफार नाम आबुल हाशिम आर दादार माने आईडी कार्ड आर खाना मादे आईडी कार्ड दिल दो हेदे सीता बोले होरे काटी ना वन रिसिक पाटर आगे दिल दिरिया रिसिक पाटर आगे आर बांगली बोले होरे दिल दे यान आर दादा का दादा फदादा हिन रोहिंग्या दे यान तेरा कार्ड में आसुदा तो लवा मत हिन लेफलायर आधा फलायर दा हिन रोहिंग्या कार्ड
आर नाम होले रहीमुल्लाह आर बाफार नाम होले गुलाम शरीफ मान नाम होले दमिला हातू आर तू राजे एक फुटो आइसिल एक फुटो लफिलियरे आर 1990 एकम मादे ओल देगिया दला कार्ड आर नाम होले मोहम्मद फयाज आर बयस होले 65 बছর यान होले बर्मार आईडी कार्ड आर दिल्ली तो यान आर तो हारि लफलाई यान हारि लफनर परे आकान रिसिक कार्ड दिल सलाबिरा गरिबाल्ला बोली होय यान
It is a kind of document for Rohingya people given from Myanmar government. They are writing in this paper taden kunya yitate kan lame NMB sigron atotwa. It is for temporary for their family a kind of document. His name is Nur Islam. This document given for Thami Ozo. Also he is living in Butidong Township, Laking to Lamme, Tawankamme 192. He is officer of immigration. It is not for citizenship.
They had registration card at one time, subsequently replaced by a national verification card, NVR. But NVR is not a national ID. It is actually no legal standing. It can be ignored by the Myanmar government whenever they want it. And because of the weak legal status of the NVR, the Rohingyas don't have much faith on the NVR. So they have suffered in spite of the NVR.
The Aung San Suu Kyi's government is trying to push national verification card, which is NVC card. That card permanently, will make Rohingya stateless. I can say that I'm a citizen, even though they didn't recognize, because my father did government service more than 20 years. my grandfather's father, we have all the evidence. If I take that card and we see that may officially I am illegal immigrant.
ও আর মাইয়ানমার সরকার দিছে মাইয়ানমার বলতেছে কি হিন্দি হিন্দু এর পাশে দিয়ে আমি যাই ও মালয়েশিয়া যেতে পারবো মংডু যেতে পারবো আকিয়া যেতে পারবো
This is a bigger problem than many realize. There are perhaps 10 million or more people around the world who don't have citizenship of any country. In 2014, UNHCR launched a campaign to end statelessness by 2024. So today we're halfway through that campaign. It is challenging. It's an admirable goal, and we're going to continue working toward it because I think the Rohingya refugees are the perfect example of why there is a link between the lack of citizenship and forced displacement. It's really one of the fundamental reasons why the Rohingya didn't feel protected in Myanmar was the lack of nationality in the country of their birth.
Mr. Late Kofi Annan, in his commission report, has also mentioned, he didn't say change the law, he said need to revisit the 1982 law. And even a senior leader of the National League for Democracy, which is Aung San Suu Kyi's party, after the 2015 election, he had made such a statement, and I have it on record, where he said that yes, we need to look at the 1982 Citizenship Act. It is too one-sided. That was his comment.
आरो एकदा माने की स्कूलों मध्ये पन्ना बच्चों ने दे आरो मोरिले खबरसाने गराते उधर ने दे जनता बच्चों ने दे एंडिल्ला जुलूम आरो गोते प्लास्टिक आरो बांग्लादेश मध्ये रिफ्यूजी बना वाला ये
आरो रोहिंग्या आरो जिंदगी बताया सीधे आरो को तो इंदिरा रोहिंग्या मुसलमान आज आरो बांग्ली बोले हो दूर आरो नो आइरा आरो रे हमारी बारी दूर दिए दे
We was staying in Myanmar at that time we cannot sleep fully and comfortably because somebody shouting, somebody singing, come in the police, come in the army, come in the immigration officer, and then they will catch you, they will be treat money. So many kind of challenges there to stay in Myanmar.
आरा बर्मा माঝে বেশি শান্তি না পাই ওনারা বাংলাদেশের মধ্যে যদি শান্তি পাইতে হলে আরা বহুত সুন্দর করে চলে ফেলতাম আরা শান্তি আন বর্মা মাঝে নাই
আরা নিজের জমি নিজের কথা আরা আগত দিন দিলা ঘর আসিল আরা ঘর দুটা লাগছিল তত্তার ঘর এঙ্গুরে চাইতা হইতো এন্দিলা ঘর কলাইছিল এই ঘর আরার ঘর পুরা দি ফেলাই এই ঘরের লুকসান করি ফেলাই
Their identity crisis is intentionally is made and it is propagated and executed by the Burmese authority.
ওদের পলিসিটা হচ্ছে এই ধরনের ডিভাইড অ্যান্ড রুল। এখানে মুসলিম আছে, রাখাইন আছে, অন্যরা আছে, সবাইকে কিন্তু ওরা এইভাবে একটা মানে সংকট সৃষ্টি করে রাখে, বিভেদ সৃষ্টি করে রাখে। আসলে ধর্ম কোনো ব্যাপার না রাজনীতির জন্য, ধর্মকে ব্যবহার করা হয়।
Mob Rakhine community trying to their full autonomy of for the Arakan. We also our majority area we seeking our rights, full citizenship, full rights. We are not seeking our separate state. We are seeking only our rights, right like other communities.
This is a kind of apartheid kind of policy that Myanmar pursued, particularly since 1978, and that was not actually dealt strongly by the global community. Here Myanmar actually got away with this kind of policy without much resistance from the global community, and it continued and it gave Myanmar a chance to actually play with the politics of identity.
Every human being wants to belong to a state, to a society. A state is a larger version of a society. You want to have a legal standing wherever you are. The moment a person is stateless, you take away that person's dignity. You take away that person's soul.
Poet W.S. Auden stated that a person who is stateless, who doesn't have nationality of any country, is virtually dead. It's a living dead, really, because he cannot say that I'm a citizen of that particular country. Now, they were Burmese before, legitimate right to become Burmese because they have been descendants of Burmese citizens. Suddenly, Burma stripped them of their nationality. Under the international law, they're entitled to get back. They're entitled to be treated as Burmese citizens under the international law. The Burmese authorities must give them back their nationality.
As a journalist, I attended some conference there, and I had a chance to meet to Aung San Suu Kyi also. There was an international conference in 2015. In that media conference, I was actually allowed to ask a question to Aung San Suu Kyi, but Aung San Suu Kyi refused to answer my question on the Rohingya issues. She is playing a very dubious role. Always she talk about that she is in favor of solving this problem, but unfortunately I think she is in an understanding with the military management than not to solving this problem.
Unlike any other displaced population across the globe, Rohingyas are possibly the only ethnic group of the world who don't have a territory of their own. Even the United Nations certification of Rohingyas as one of the world's most persecuted minorities doesn't really describe the fullest extent of their bizarre life under the constant threat of the Myanmar military mechanism. Bangladesh, with the geopolitical proximity to the Rohingya inhabitant territories, has become the unwitting victim of this Rohingya crisis. The military house-confined the elected government, arbitrarily scrapped the constitution, and protests by those minorities were met by violent retribution and effectively caused internal conflict and human rights violation.
The Burmese army adopted the four-cut policy.
They have killed the people, they have burned the villages, they have raped the women. So this cannot be a part of military operation.
It is a state-sponsored terrorism.
The very nature of the Myanmar state, which is highly undemocratic.
General Miao Line, he was also organized by the Buddhist extremism.
You kill the identity, then you are actually also being complicit to genocide, because that is what it means, intention to destroy.
One side military did these killings, other side civilian government also doing the other way.
They have enormous volume of evidence to prosecute the authorities in Burma.